And Mr. Fenton, I'm not sure if you know everybody in this room, so maybe everyone could go around and introduce themselves, starting with my lovely friend Ted.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Ted Coutilish. I'm part of this committee and also a member of the and vice chair of the branding subcommittee. Nice to meet you.
A North Booster.
I'm a North Booster.
North alum.
Yeah, North alum. Yeah.
Distinguished alum, Chris. Be correct. Sorry, Ted.
That's right.
No worries.
Distinguished. I know.
Juli.
I'm Juli Rybicki. Ellisse Thompson.
Ahmed Ismail.
Chris Stanley.
We're missing a lot.
We're missing a lot of people, yeah.
Messenger.
Chris, Roy.
Chris Fenton.
Yes, Chris Fenton. Yes.
I'm here.
I'm Keith Howell. Would like to use that.
Keith rocked at the prior session.
Chris.
Nice.
Roy.
Can you do a double?
I'm just sitting observing
Okay.
today.
He starts
Mary
bringing up the
Jane is
postal
not
paper.
here. Nadia is not here.
I'm
She
sorry,
should
can you run
be.
through those again?
I didn't. Oh no, she couldn't come. She said
Oh,
she
she's got
had
it, okay, all right.
a birthday and something else today. I think her anniversary, but don't quote that. I don't know. She had something going on that was big, and I don't know where Carl is. And Sean had personal reasons he couldn't be here today. Okay, so let's see. Approval of the agenda.
Sure.
Everybody
I approve.
in favor?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
perfect,
moved.
perfect.
Okay.
Oh, just kidding.
All right, so let's start with 3.1, which is lunches. So we're hearing great feedback about all the school lunches from, how do you pronounce it, Taher? Taher. I'm hearing that the food lines are great, longer and growing per week. That's what I've been hearing from a lot of people. I'm hearing the food is plentiful, that it's not running out.
That's good.
Roy, you hearing the same thing?
Yeah, we're doing the same thing. Like now that we're in like week 5 of school, we're definitely trying to work out some of the kinks. But like we're kind of going like how we think it's going to be kind of a bumpy transition. When we first got started, like there were a couple of weeks we were actually kind of running out of food because people were kind of deciding what their favorite food is.
Yeah.
Now that we had the feedback from students, we're able to now make sure all options are there no matter what option anybody chooses. So that's actually good for us. We also, with our lines were a little bit longer at the very beginning. Part of it was because our 5th graders had to punch in their numbers. So of course everyone has their student ID number, something 15000, then it goes to the rest, and they had to actually get up there and punch their numbers in. Well, some of them admitted that they were actually getting nervous and they were feeling some of the pressure. And like they were like forgetting, it's like it became like a thing. So then we went to like the cars and we did a couple other things, and then we started bringing some kids down early. You kind of have to practice with them, that way when they got up there they felt confident enough to be able to put their numbers in. So we've been doing a couple of things intentionally, and shout out to our principals and to our staff, because our staff members have been going into the lunches to be able to help students kind of get in line and kind of settle some things down. But now that we're in week 5, things are definitely going better for us with Tyler.
Are you happy with them compared to the old company?
Yeah, I think every company has their pros and cons.
Okay.
And so I think Tyler is really giving us the royal treatment right now, and I hope it continues.
Yes,
I know they don't have much business in Michigan, so maybe they're trying to use us to be a flagship of some to other districts. So we hope that continues. But
Maybe
so
they're just
far,
good.
yeah, so far so good.
Well, that's good.
What I am hearing over and over though is the amount of time to eat is very short, and I'm specifically hearing that in the middle schools.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have as big a plug in. I purposely drive over to the high school at lunch to see what's going on, and the line out the door at Farms is still a huge thing. So I'm not sure what's going on inside those doors, or I don't have any good intel. And same with the elementary schools, but I'm hearing a lot from the middle. And I know my daughter doesn't get enough time to eat, but that's just a personal thing.
Can I speak to that for a second?
Yeah, please,
Okay.
please. That's what
I'm
I'm
sorry.
here.
Did you want to go down the list and then want us to?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, let's go. Just
So you're right. So in middle school, there are 30 minutes to eat.
Is it 24?
30.
30?
Yeah, you get 30 minutes to eat in whatever middle school that you're in. So there are 30 minutes to be able to eat. I think that the lines, when we first started out the school year, were a little bit longer. Students had a little bit less time to be able to eat. I think some of the problem, depending on what kid you talk to, some students feel like, okay, I'm done in 5 minutes, so therefore I'm gonna go outside and spend the rest of my time there. Some students are taking all of the time to be able to do it. There are also 5 minutes of buffer on the front end and the back end of lunch, so some students get it right down early and they take all 40 minutes of lunch. So you have 5 minutes passing in the beginning and 5 minutes passing at the very end. Some students do use that during that time. It is one thing to be able to, I know we're comparing lunch a lot of the times from elementary to middle school. Well, and I kind of did some of the math just for rough here, so don't quote me on this, but I know for a fact elementary is in school longer than middle school. And students have to be in their seats for a total of 1,089 hours a year.
Right.
And so
right.
that also plays in the factor when we talk about making lunch time a little bit longer. Like, what are you going to cut it from at the middle school level? Are you going to extend the school day so it's longer like elementary? Those are all questions that we have to be able to ponder if we want to look to make something a little bit longer as it relates to lunch. Or I've heard some things like give them recess. That all has to be equated into 1,089 hours that have to be equated as far as instruction.
But that's a new that it's only been 30 minutes. It used to be longer, correct?
Yeah.
5 years ago in all the schools.
I don't know about that
longer.
one. I don't know if it's longer or not. I can double check that fact for you and see what it was 5 years ago, but I don't have that
Yeah.
schedule for us.
Just take a look at it.
Well, we did the tour, one of the things.
Because I was told by an administrator in the schools that it used to be longer, but
You know what, administrator?
I'll, yeah.
Okay, I'm just happy to check with
I don't
you.
wanna-
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
One of the things that we went on our tour that I thought was a great idea, at one of the schools, the person from Tahoe took and made little mini bags of the vegetables. So the kids could just grab those bags and they're not scooping and trying to put them on their plate and everything.
That's a good idea.
And it was just a great, like, bam, 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 the kids would grab bag, I'm out of here, you know? So I don't know if you can bribe Tyler to do that at all the schools, but I think it was like either Richard or, I forget, one of the ones that you took us to,
I think it was
right?
at Monteith.
The second trip, yeah.
Was it at Monteith maybe?
I don't know, one of them I know, I thought, what a great idea,
Right.
you know?
And it was because it was very seasoned people that had been with us for a long time, and
Yeah.
I remember they were.
And that's the one thing too. Now that it's week 5, we are seeing with Tahoe that they also are increasing the amount of people that they have on their staff. They of course were trying to hire, and some buildings were fully staffed, some were not. So now we're getting to a point where they're all steadily being staffed appropriately. We're seeing that now to be able to help, and I think we can do some of those things, like be a little more proactive around packing vegetables or doing things that can make it easier when students are coming through the lines. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and also even adding parental volunteers,
Yeah.
there's so many people that wanna, I did it Richard for, years, half a decade at least where I was working for free in the cafeterias, right?
Love
Just
that.
to
If
be there.
If there's anybody who wants to help,
Yeah, I volunteer for lunch at Ferry. We get a lot of good parents.
Love
a lot
it.
of engagement. I think it's been fun so
Yeah.
far at Ferry.
anybody who wants to help, we'll do an eye chat on you.
Yeah.
Make sure you're safe to come
Yeah.
to our schools.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing you might want to reach out to is people that don't have kids, grandparents. There's a big pool of people there that, an hour a day, just that they go and interact with the kids. It's, I don't know if
For
that's
sure.
allowable or not, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll chat people. We can have volunteers.
All right, yeah. I was just to have an idea of someone.
I'm sorry, keep
Just lost track of my time for a second. So I'd love to see if someone or a few people on this committee could maybe divide and conquer and volunteer to go sit in the next month, just to go sit in, be a quiet observer in the back of the room and hit, north, south to Ferry, like hit all the schools and maybe a small team, maybe two, maybe.
to do what?
To just go and sit in the back room and see if they are having enough time to eat, if it's
Oh,
just
at
a
the
couple
lunch or lunch hour,
stragglers,
you mean?
if it's more of a problem over here than it is over here, based on, cafeteria workers and parent volunteers, whatever, right? And then maybe you can bring that idea to the PTOs and reserve it and help out, but especially with middle school, the timing, let's just, maybe someone could take a look, because I don't want to volunteer to.
Is it 30 minutes their lunchtime and their outside time?
I know for
Yeah, I know
Perry,
the outside time.
I go from
That's longer.
11:36 to like 12:36 or something very specific.
Elementary is different.
Oh, okay, okay.
Remember they had that longer time there in school.
We're out, yeah, and we're outside part of it.
There are more kids doing the hot lunch now that everybody's getting the free lunch. So I know my kids, the hot lunch was like a punishment because they had to wait in line and cut out their, playtime. They wanted their bag lunch so that they could swallow it and go outside. So if there's more kids in line, it probably takes them longer to get to the tables, I would assume.
Yeah, we could figure out divide and conquer.
Depends on what food option it is too. Like I hear.
How about I send an email and I'll add Carl back in and
One
Nadia.
thing I would ask though, like if you're gonna just like pop it out of school.
Well, you
No,
can't,
clear, for
yeah,
sure.
you
Just
can't
hop in
pop
there.
it in.
Yeah.
How about I run it and get hey, we're gonna do this school, and then I'll get it to you and you just make
Yeah,
sure.
there's some kind of like organization you want to let the principals know, then kids
Yeah.
might get kind of weird out about it.
Yeah, I was gonna wonder about that. So
You gotta-
are there badges or lanyards we can wear? Because I feel
Yeah,
like
visitor passes.
if I go there, I feel like the creepy guy in the back. Like, why is that person looking?
Well, I
at
went
me?
through like a parent, I had to sign something in the beginning, a volunteer sheet, and
Yeah.
give my license and all of that.
Yeah, anybody who you're talking about trying to volunteer would have to do an ICF first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think we just want to give principals a heads up, like.
Yeah,
That's
for
something
sure.
That's gotta
That's
flow
easy.
through central office.
Yeah, like we would definitely appreciate,
Yeah.
what President Ishmael said, like if it could flow through us and we could have some organization around it. We don't want people just popping up at our school saying, hey, we're here to see.
How about you guys
We're the
figure it out amongst you, right? And then
Yeah.
I'll put it together and I'll hand it to you, Mr. Fenton and Roy, and go from there. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the building principals just to provide a level of detail of what's taking place at lunchtime. Would they be able to provide that level of detail for us, and Roy could bring this back to the committee to kind of identify which schools are having a struggle with their time frame?
Yeah, I think we could do both, right? For sure.
And if you want to put a structure on it, you could use Google Docs.
Okay.
And then have it set up with criteria, and then different things that you want to achieve. How much time, how many students actually ate, didn't eat.
Right,
that kind of
right.
stuff. And then if you have it on Google Docs, that means that anyone who has the link can access it. And all the criteria would be the same for every school. That way you know it's actual level rather than someone just grading random stuff and you don't know how to compare apples to apples. No pun intended.
Okay, yeah.
Keith also
Good
just
point,
passed
good point.
Keith also just shared with me in 2016-17, there was 30 minutes for lunch.
Yeah, 30 minutes for lunch and,
In 2016-17.
oh, 2000.
Yeah, I just looked up fall schedules 2016-17.
Just keep those handy, eh?
Everything down when you're here long enough, you start to have your files.
Keith's been here a while.
It also includes a bathroom
My
break.
day was gray hairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said it's a 30 minutes until the bathroom break?
Does it include a bathroom break?
You can go to the bathroom anytime you would like to.
Anytime you want?
Yeah.
During the school, you
Yeah, we
you
don't
have
hold
to ask
kids,
for
we don't hold
permission?
kids in the cafeteria to go to the bathroom. They can go
No,
to
no,
the
I
bathroom.
meant like during the school day, can you just get up and go in the middle of class?
They have, I think most schools have like passes, like at the end of class, you can go to the bathroom, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
there's no stopping in the middle of the class?
We try not to stop people from going to the bathroom, especially if they're like legitimate, as long as they're going every 5 minutes, then we gotta talk to the parents if there's anything like kind of wrong, but we don't try to stop people from going to the bathroom, because that's when like accidents happen, we don't want that to happen.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right, so to your point, the 30 minutes includes the kids are supposed to go eat, go grab go outside, go to the bathroom, and make it to class in 30 minutes. Plus the 5 minutes on the highway time. I mean, the squeaking it 3 to 5 minutes out of somehow would benefit a middle schooler, potentially. Just, something to think about and just grab some data on. And then I was checking out another site, and are we doing any education on nutrition for our kids? Especially the older kids. So, for instance, I'm just always using my daughter for an example. She, loves this hot lunch. Like I'm not going to convince her to take a packed lunch anymore because we're very healthy in our family. So, you're eating whole grain bread. You're eating very healthy, not a lot of sugar, etc. So she goes in for the first week and she grabs pizza and french fries every single solitary day. And I'm like, yeah, it's an oh boy, like you can't do that, and she has medical issues that would prevent her, that she should not be making those choices. But I was looking at another website, which I'll forward over to you, and their food service does an education class on what's good and what's healthy to grab. I
Do
just
they do
thought it
that
was very
online, or they
interesting.
do it during the day? How does that work?
It was scheduled on their website, so I could make some calls and figure out how they did that. But it was labeled as it was education on nutrition. And it was put in the beginning of the weeks of their schedule. So I'll show you what I saw, and I thought, well, that's a fabulous idea to educate our kids on.
Please share that with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, please share that.
I don't know what that would look like or how that would work, but it's definitely something to get in, especially to middle school kids who are grabbing burgers and fries every day. Okay. Should we move? Anyone have any other comments on lunch or? Okay, so 3.2 is enrollment process. So we've been talking a lot about that. I just printed out with my sad printer. Yeah, let's see. I just printed out our process. So I know Roy and I tried to connect. We never connected today on this or any of the other things we have to connect on. And so,
Magnifying glass.
I know, this is the best I have with my printer.
It gets better, go to the second and third page.
Try to read that with my glasses.
Yeah.
But this is actually, this is right off our site, right? This is just, for anyone watching, this is just the welcome, that's what you click on. Prospective families, there's a thing on the side, and then you click on the word enrollment process, and then under enrollment processes, click your enrollment application, click here. And then what the third page of this is your pre-enrollment checklist. I did just for fun call the number. It says, if you're registering a new child, call this number. It goes to extension. It just says extension 3007. There's no message. There's not a lot of warm and fuzzy at all with any of the beginning of the process. So I just think it's definitely worth taking a look at and getting some kind of a plan to even just adding a message to the machine, say, hi, it's so great that you're calling. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. We're so excited you're thinking of bringing your kid to the Grosse Pointe public school system. We can't wait to connect with you and hook you up with, your potential schools, or I don't know, something like that. And I called a couple times a day to see if someone would answer. No one answered. So the 313-432-3007.
Okay.
And that's what it said to call. And I just want to ask you, Roy, how hard is it to request a tour? So if I was a parent today, I called in today, looking to move to Grosse Pointe, want to register my child, how long would it take me to get a tour in my case, it would be Brown.
Yeah, so if it's Brown, it really all would depend. So like right now, there's a form stack in which you fill out. And then that form stack, once it's sent in, it goes right to the building principal.
Form stack, is that this?
It's like a Google form.
Yep, it's like a Google form. It's on our website if you want to get a requested tour. You can request a tour of any of our buildings. Our buildings are pretty on it about making sure that they're doing their tours. It really depends on the day. Like we have some people that all want to tour the same day. Sometimes it's not able to be a safe place to happen because they're doing things with our kids and what we want them to be able to do. But our buildings are giving tours, pretty regularly on a regular basis when they come in within the form stack. So, it really all would depend, but it wouldn't be like, I want to come there within 2 hours, can you give me a tour thing? That doesn't take place.
But just say, backtrack 22 years when I first moved here, right? Flew in from Boston. I've got 2 days to check out houses, real estate, and go tour the public schools. Is that possible with a week notice to
if you gave a little bit of notice, like a prime example, if you were to go to Principal Dirksey right now and say, you know what, I'm gonna be in town next Wednesday, I want a tour, I demand a tour, the answer for you will be no, because she's gonna be in DC.
There's no one else that could give a tour.
It depends, like if you have one AP that's there to do all the other people are teaching throughout the day. So it really all depends on when you wanna ask for that tour. They try to accommodate as much as possible, but sometimes it's not feasible to be able to do it. Sometimes people give us little short windows, like they say, hey, I may be here in town, this is the 1 hour of the day I have it. If a building principal has to be either out of town and their AP is in, let's say an IEP meeting, they're gonna take that IEP meeting. So like we have to be a little bit flexible on that end. They try to get people in, but it's not gonna be like every kid situation we're gonna be able to accommodate.
Okay, well, again, that would be something maybe we should look at, because what if it was at South, right? You could have the parents be given a tour by our, I can't think of the name of the kids that like help other kids. What is that group called?
Mentors.
The mentor group.
The Link Crew?
Link Crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Link Crew kids could give the tour to the parents, and the parents could ask 1,000 questions to the Link Crew kids. Not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of our schools have that, but it has to have an adult to be able to set that up. So it really all depends on the case. Like we try to be able to make that happen, but sometimes a bit of guarantee is tough.
So is there a central place, Roy, that people go to for that? Or do they go to each building?
No, the central place on the website you can go to with the enrollment process, and it says you want to tour our buildings. And you can press tour and it goes. So like whenever we have a tour, as of right now, like let's say for instance somebody wants to go to Monteith. Principal Dr. Keelan, she will get the workflow. The Fuga will get the workflow. I will get the workflow. I will follow up with Principal Keelan, like, hey,
Why do you have to get involved in that?
He said, why do I get involved in
Yeah,
it?
I mean, it feels like a waste of your time. I mean,
I know we're going to have questions.
no, but I mean, it seems like that's a principle-based thing.
It is, but at the same time, like, we want to make sure our families are welcome and they're seen at a certain time. So I do have to follow up to make sure accountability measures are there.
Got it.
So that's how the workflow goes around.
How would somebody know what school they want to tour if they're not familiar with the area?
How do they know?
Yeah, if
Sometimes-
I know I'm looking in maybe Grosse Pointe City,
Mhm.
is there something that tells me what elementary schools would be possible?
Yeah, there's a map on the enrollment page
Okay.
that would say that. A lot of times people who are coming to us are also working with realtors. And they'll say, hey, here's your prospective schools, so I want to tour this, this, and this.
Okay.
So sometimes they have an idea. We do have some families who said, okay, I want to tour all 13 buildings. And we want to do it within 2 hours. I'm like, we're going to try to accommodate that. But that's not going to be
Your
able to
roller
happen.
skate, son.
Yeah. That's not going to, so like, we do try to work with families in that area, but sometimes it just,
Okay, but there's a way to narrow down, and
For
there's,
sure.
a
Yeah,
bunch
for
of
sure.
elementary schools. I probably need to tour more than one, but I don't need to tour Ann Monteith if I'm looking at farms.
correct. I think this is a great time for us to be able to also plug our November 5th open house. Because open house, you can definitely go to multiple
Right.
schools. You can talk to multiple teachers to be able to see exactly what school you may be looking to attend based upon what area you move into our district.
But who do you think that November date fits? Like, what scenario is randomly looking on November 5th as opposed to, like, I feel like it should just be an open house situation. I don't know. Somehow maybe driven back to each school, like the principals. Like if I walked up and tried to get a hold of Roger Hunwick, I think it would be super easy to get a tour of the school because he's that kind of a guy. It's going to be right on it, and you trust your employees, of course, and they're going to do a fabulous job of selling the school.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess all of our principals are on it. I'm not saying they're not on it. I'm saying sometimes like they're busy, like they're doing other things they have to be able to do. Like and Roger is great. I think everybody has the same approach that they want to get families into
Right,
our
for
schools.
sure.
Have you heard of a family who hasn't gotten a tour yet who's asked for one?
Not necessarily, but I've seen, online conversations about enrollment being less than perfect. That's all. Just,
No, I'm talking about-
everything in our whole school, everything in our lives should be like this, right? Just a place you can explore. What can I do better, right? You should wake up every morning and tell yourself that. What can I do better today
Absolutely.
than I did yesterday?
Just the
So
tour
that's
piece.
all I'm saying.
Did you hear anything about the tour piece? Is there a family that we can connect with and do better with them around the tour piece like this week or last week?
Not a specific situation.
Okay.
I'm not talking about a specific situation, just talking about in general. I'm talking about, my experience from when I was registering Mariana. I'm talking about lots of different conversations I've had over campaigning and over the last year of just enrollment being less than perfect.
Yes.
So I thought we should look at it and, today, picking up the phone and making the first call to some phone number and getting 3 times today and getting just random times throughout the day, just seeing what would happen. And you don't even get a welcome message, right? So there's things that we could definitely look at and improve and smile at and go, all right, these are super easy things. Let's get a voicemail on there. Let it be some joyful, happy voice that when they're reading the message, they're smiling so that it comes across on the phone. And
Absolutely.
that's all.
It's very simple. I totally agree. There should be a message on there.
And then a time frame to get back to people should be pretty quick, especially with, when you're looking around, there's, if they're touring here, to say they're touring the Catholic schools, they do a great job of just, really just calling you back and following up and all of those things. And we want to make sure we're competing with that since we want our enrollment to go up, that's all.
Question, is there a way, if I'm a prospective parent, if I want my student to shadow a student for the day, do we have that availability?
It is done at the high school, but you have to arrange that in advance.
Yeah, I want to.
What's the process you go through that I do that?
You go with the couple cases I know you went, there was involved south and one at north. You arrange that, a week or so for shadowing.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not for sure if the middle school and elementary school do as well.
They do
But
it, okay.
it's not something, hey, I want to have a shadow tomorrow.
Right.
No, I get
Nothing's
that.
that.
But
Simple.
When my son went to International Academy, that was a requirement, that you had to shadow before you had to shadow a student for the day.
yeah, my granddaughter's at a private school on the east side, and it was a requirement that she shadow for half a day.
Yeah.
One of the things as a parent who just went through this, I kind of wish there was some more information about Kids Club, because a lot of parents in the community with the economy, everyone's dual working, and I found that you don't get information about, Kids Club until you're actually signed up. So if I'm a first timer, I didn't get a lot of information. I did because I had friends that told me, but I know some parents in the community had a difficult time, so maybe a link to something or just as a heads up, or even on the pre-enrollment checklist, is Kids Club going to be something you're interested in? That might be something to consider too.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, great idea.
I appreciate that.
And just somebody here in this group want to identify areas of improvement for the enrollment policies. Maybe just go down the checklist and then we could gather that information, have a meeting with the 4 of you. And,
Personal experience or? I
No,
haven't
just,
known kids in 12 years, so.
just to go on our website, do a deep dive into what that looks like and and then maybe talk to parents, right? Go do a Facebook search, see all those parents that weren't happy, just, I can't take on another second of responsibility, so I thought if someone else could maybe take that on.
Yeah, that was
and-
my feedback, that was the Kids Club.
Yeah,
I
right.
think, yeah.
Or a little, put together a little nice package would be great to hand. I know when we toured Star of the Sea for Mariana, that, they were not only calling, they were emailing, they sent us a package, we got a mug, still sitting in my house. I mean, it's just great. I still came to Grosse Public Schools, of course, but.
We appreciate it.
And yeah, so just all kinds of little things that you can do to
Absolutely.
make an experience more positive. Do you have anything else?
One of the things that I would like to see is, and I don't know if this is Chris Stanley or Brian Yeager, I don't know who's involved in this, is we need to clean up the website so it's friendlier. I mean, it's clunky. The type is too small, it's hard to read. You've got this, there's no contrast between, you put this shaded background on everything instead of it being white. So old folks like me have to, what is it saying now? And the type is so darn small.
Right.
That, even if I use a 27-inch monitor in my office, and I'm sitting there looking, what does that say? I gotta read the fine print. So, a lot of it's just the font they use. I think they're using a condensed font.
Yeah, I can touch base with Brian about that. I think a lot of times, not an excuse, just explain
No,
it, right? I think some of the times, especially when it comes to the font size, it's trying to match how does this fit on a laptop and a cell phone
Right.
and on an iPad at the same time, right? So it has to find a happy medium. One of the things we did do when we renewed with Blackboard, which is the
So
final
that's
site,
the company you're using?
it's a
Okay.
template that we purchase,
Okay.
right? And they have a lot of control over that template. They're like, here's what you get. So when it
Yeah.
comes to kind of like you were saying, some of the colors in the background,
Yeah.
we don't get a lot of choice over that, about what that looks like. I don't disagree. I think that there are probably some things on this website that we can go, okay, when it comes to
Yeah,
the next.
I think just a cleaner look and be a friendlier look. And like, for instance, they put the menu on the very bottom. So you have to scroll down.
Correct.
Every time to get to the menu, you have to scroll down to find the menu. That should be like,
Yeah.
bam.
Do you remember what it looked like previous to that, though?
Yeah, it was even worse.
Yeah, there was just like stuff everywhere. So it's like, how do we find it? Right. Yeah, how do we make it less?
So the improvement needs to be improved.
Yeah. So one of the things we found, and I'll just go into this because I like to nerd out on this style. Because our previous website had so much stuff on it, we were like, how do we clean it up almost to a minimalist type of look to it? But then you're afforded less items to put on there. I know we were kind of talking about that the other day, just via email. Like, now you can't put as much.
What does
on there.
Blackboard charge you for that?
Per year?
Yeah, is it a subscription issue?
No, don't quote me on it. It's somewhere between 36 and 38,000
Wow.
So
per year.
I wouldn't worry about this right now because we're going through the brand process. And the brand process will have recommendations for a new
Good.
website, new ads, new typefaces,
Yeah, I mean,
new
I just-
logo. Right now, we're using the seal as our logo, which is a mistake. A lot of universities and schools, elementary schools, and school districts make it. This is a seal. It's not a logo.
Right,
And it's
exactly.
being used as a logo for the school district. So, for example, the first brand recommendation will be come up with a series of logos for review, and then final pick one, and then reserve the seal for diplomas,
Right.
citations, because if you use it everywhere, you're watering it down and it's not strong. So, for example, University, Michigan, Eastern Michigan University, all of them have a seal, and it's only used for diplomas,
Right,
and
for official
citations, and
documents.
proclamations, and official documents. And then they all have their own logo, which is the everyday, you just use that everything, everyday documents and everything else, all the other communications. So I wouldn't really worry about cleaning up the old website and choosing a new website, or it'll all be looked at and
Oh, that's
carefully
great.
reviewed through the branding process. There'll be recommendations on what that would look like based on best practices, what other districts are doing around the country, the latest trends. I know at the university, we're at the forefront of websites, and so we've gone with a dark background with light type and lighter type. And so all of that would be worked out through the branding process. I wouldn't necessarily do
Right.
double.
No, I don't want to double work at all. I just want
Double work.
to, I want to make sure we get it done, that's all.
Yeah, and there'll be all kinds of suggestions and recommendations for the entire communications process to improve every aspect of communications, whether they're, flyers, ads, websites, social media, will be recommendations. So we'll have all of that in there.
Great. Well, you brought that up, Ted. Can you give us, where do you and Sean sit on that, Ted? as
We're
far
gonna
as-
go through the new business. I talked to Ginny, and we're gonna.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do a complete update on that process.
Great, okay.
Then I'm gonna like stop this one.
No, that's fine. Or 3.3,
Yeah, we'll go to 3.3, and if anyone here wants to,
Well, 3.3
just go
was-
to, just one more point on 3.2 is, if any computer warriors want to go and just look at what other districts are doing for the enrollment process, what it looks like on their page, maybe come up with 3 or 4, wow, that's amazing how, this district in New Jersey is doing it. Because we can grab from anywhere, so that's it for that. All right, moving on to
well, let's do 3.3. 3.3 is something that I'm bothered by because we're trying to bring people here and yet we turn our own people away. And I find it quite troubling that a student who goes to De La Salle or goes to one of the other school systems doesn't have a lanyard of some kind that gets them into any event we have for free. And I think that they pay taxes here, and if you want to bring them back in, you want to expose them to as many of the cool things that we're doing. And, you know, I know that the issue, when I talked to Brandon Wheeler about, you know, when they started the Gestapo technique on the middle schoolers as far as coming to the games without a parent, that kind of stuff. I mean, on the one hand, we have a walkable community, ride your bike everywhere, and then a poor kid goes to ride the football game, he can't get in, you know? And it's just like, my God, it's like marketing 101. Why would you be turning these kids away? It's like you're shooting fish in a barrel right there.
Right.
And so I'd like to see us do something where not only, and Chris, you remember at one time, we pretty actively promoted the whole gold card thing for senior citizens and that. And I would like to see us do something where we promote that for any resident of the community whose kids aren't in the school system, so that they get to see the cool things that are happening in all of our schools and get to see choir concerts and maybe there's never a choir concert.
Does this pertain just to athletic events, or is it choir too?
It is not choir. That's an interesting point because, you know, I was 2 choir daughters, and all their friends would gather and go watch them. And
Like Saturday night's fall follies.
Right, so
anybody
anybody could go,
there.
just go up
They gotta
and
buy a ticket, obviously.
$10 ticket,
Yeah, okay.
and they could go. But when it comes to the sporting events, and you got, you know, 5 De La Salle boys that want to run over and watch Caroline play soccer last year, and they couldn't come.
I'll take it a step further. My daughter came home from college this weekend for homecoming. She was denied entrance at the gate south
Why?
because they assumed she was a high school kid. She had to show her college ID to get in
Yeah.
to there. So I have a football player son, so this is a hot button for me. He's had 3 Brother Rice friends and 3 De La Salle friends, to your point, go to South on their own and were turned away. They all live in Grosse Pointe. They would all be students at South if they went. So I have too much time on my hands, so I called, 17 other high schools. The only other high school that has a similar policy is Dakota. Every other high school allows any student, regardless of age. A couple of them had 12 and under restrictions. They had to have a parent if they were under 12. I said, well, how do you know if they're 12 or 13? And she's like, honor system.
Thanks for doing all the
So,
homework.
well, I was just curious, you know, because he's inviting his friends that he played Red Barons with all these years to come play football. He's a senior, and they're all getting turned away at the gate, and 3 of them live within walking distance. So,
Oh my gosh.
you know, I feel like we're accusing them of poor behavior before they even get to the gate. And then again, this past weekend, my 21-year-old daughter couldn't get in because she didn't have a South ID, and she's like, I don't go to South. And they said, well, you certainly look like a high school kid, so I had to come down from the stands, show her the ticket.
Oh, come
I
on.
texted her the ticket through GoFan, whatever that thing is. So, you know, I do think it's a very unwelcoming experience, and she's a South graduate. So,
Right.
you know, I think we need to revisit why we're doing it. If there's been some crazy unruly behavior I'm not aware of. I've been a South parent for a whole lot of years now, but, you know, maybe there's ways around that, but.
And to that point, the Grosse Pointe News asked all 5 public safety departments in the Grosse Pointes to confirm any incidents at our local athletic events specifically involving internet predators, human trafficking, any fights. Each department said there has been no such incident reported in the park, city, farms, woods, or shores.
Wow.
Can you say that again? That was from our schools, you said?
That was the, I just got it out of the Grosse Pointe, the Grosse Pointe News.
What was the, you said it was the same?
It was the editor's notes in, so somebody in the Grosse Pointe News did that.
Okay.
And you know, call. I mean, I could figure out who, I just printed this today, so.
Yeah, give it to Roy.
Send you the,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair information for that.
But I mean, my whole point is that we can spend all the money in the world on marketing, but if you turn away your own people and they leave with a negative vibe, what are we doing? I mean, that's maddening to me.
We could take it a step past there, you know, my son played baseball with boys all through Macomb County on club ball, and they couldn't come. You know, Lance Cruz kid wanted to come to a South game to take pictures of my son, ironically, with his little photog business, and he couldn't get in.
So it's all sports events?
Only sports events, yeah.
All sports events, regardless of the school, if they're a student at all, they have to have a parent with them for the duration of the game. So when I went down to get my daughter, they still didn't believe she was a college student, I guess, and they asked me if I was gonna be there with her the whole game. And I had a
Your
t-shirt.
daughter, the one I know, can see her. They must have set her off.
I'll do that for the
Policy
10 day.
specifically is, all students unless accompanied by an adult must show a valid school ID from Grosse Pointe Public Schools or.
My whole thing, we don't need to make a big deal because Brandon's gonna get into this. But I mean, the bottom line to me is that's the lowest level of sales. I mean, those are your troops. If that kid goes home and says, Mom, I really want to go to Grosse Pointe South. I don't want to go to U of D. You can't buy that kind of advertising.
Yeah.
And that's why my whole point is rather than even being passive about it, I would like us to see us be aggressive about come and visit us. Come and visit us. You're paying taxes here. You're not, come and visit us. This is your school. These are your schools. I don't care what the event is. And
Right, this isn't just about football, this is about, right, let's let Mariana go, or whatever, let's let our kids go see, what's going on with the lacrosse teams, or whatever they could get one.
I'm glad to say, Ted, I'm glad you brought that up on the website, and I'm glad that this is part of what you guys are gonna be looking at, because I think that whole mindset change has to happen, it's a paradigm change has to happen, and I think it's so,
Is that, another question, is that true at middle school?
Yeah.
You have to have parents.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we don't have to kick it to death.
But I think the intent, another intent was talking to ADs when we first had made the determination multiple years ago was around safety. And it was something that South had always been doing and North and incorporated it, so we were the same at both high schools. Now, we have no problem going back to look at it and revisit it. I've talked to, AD Davis and also AD Griesbaum, and they have a hard stance on a couple of things, but I know they want to be able to work to make sure that we are being as inclusive as possible. So I think we can go back to the table and look and see how we can be inclusive as possible. I'm kind of hearing multiple things, also going to ask a couple of questions. I like to make sure what the deliverable is. I hear you saying taxpayers. So when you're saying taxpayers, you're saying people in our communities, that means our 6 cities that we service.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure.
And then I hear some other things being said. I feel like I heard you say that.
So I called, like I said, I don't know, I'm looking 17 schools.
Not the other schools. I thought I heard you say some students that were trying to come in.
So
Right,
Lance
so
Cruz.
my son plays baseball in a Macomb League, so he's got friends from Utica, Lance
Sure.
Cruz, Frazier, all those places. So one of his Lance Cruz buddies tried to come to the game 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's got a tag of his, take pictures of my son, and he wasn't allowed in.
For sure. And underneath what?
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, Roy, is I want to see the kids that live here be able to go for free.
Well,
Oh,
that's
okay.
Yeah, that was my
So
thing.
students get for free to the art and they come in.
In other words, I want to attract the kids that don't go to the schools here.
But we gotta look at that in light of,
Yes, I
like
don't
Fall
know.
Follies, we charge tickets to get in. It doesn't matter whether you're a resident or a visitor, and I know people who have come from other communities, and everybody pays to get a ticket. So we gotta talk that through.
Is it $5 or is it
Now you're
$10?
using the GoFan app, so how many, 15-year-olds have a credit card to buy a ticket on the app?
You have to
Oh, I
use the
wanted to
app.
ask
You have to
you
use
guys.
the app.
Yeah,
They
you
won't
can't
take
pay
that.
cash anymore to go to a game?
Oh, why not?
I pay cash. I don't have to pay
Starting
cash.
last
I get it free, but.
That needs to be looked into immediately, because
I
that's
feel like
an
I'm supposed to have to
issue.
get paying cash.
I'm not-
I'll have to go and ask and see.
Yeah, there was a memo that came out, I thought.
There
So
were
I
a
sent
couple-
Mariana with a $5 bill.
There were a couple of grandparents who did not have smartphones who were struggling.
Were they able
Yeah.
to pay with cash, do you know, or no?
The two that I saw, the woman kept saying, we're not taking cash.
Got
She pulled them over to the side, so to be fair, I don't know how they resolved it, but
This is at South.
this was at South on Friday night. It was the first night that they implemented the GoFan, whatever. But if you're talking about kids, then, I don't know that I don't care if my son has to pay to get in, but he didn't have a credit card to buy a ticket on GoFan when he was 12. Now, yeah, I could buy the ticket and I can, I don't
doesn't even
know,
have a
text
phone.
it to him or whatever, but, you know, yeah, I mean, assuming they have a phone. But there were 2 grandparents Friday night who did not have smartphones. And,
Something we can look into. Like I didn't have that information. So like
yeah,
we can
they
look
told
into
them at the gate, and I know we've done it, we were at Anchor Bay and they did the same thing. Apparently it's an MHSAA thing,
Sure.
but Anchor Bay didn't have Wi-Fi.
Now I do have the rules for the MAC, as far as what schools in the MAC, who does what, and for most of them, they do follow some of the same ones that we do. There are a couple of schools that don't. Some schools that who do other things, but for the most part, most of them do have some of the same guidelines we do. We were one of the only ones in the MAC who weren't having some of these guidelines and put in place. I do understand the need for us to be more inclusive, but I guess I still want to ask some more questions. So you're saying you want to see students get in free?
I want to promote any way we can.
For sure, more,
That's
fill
my
those
thing.
stands.
I just want to promote any way we can, Roy, to make them want to come here. And to me, we have that open house, okay, in November, okay? You would be shooting a lot more fish in a bigger barrel, coming up with some way to incentivize the kids that live here, that they can actually participate in the events, than spending the money to have teachers in every building stand around and wait for somebody to come
But,
in.
okay, I'll throw some up. So an adult who has no kids in the system comes to the game, he pays a ticket, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm open for suggestions because
Well, I'm just saying, I think they pay a ticket.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
What do we make yearly on our, what's our take on
we'd have to
that?
pull that.
Is that, $5
Yeah.
bill, I don't know, is it worth the $5 bill to?
Well, that money goes into, in the past, it goes into accounts, and they spend it on sports stuff. So I don't know what it is now.
I don't know, Chris. I'm just saying, I'd like us, and this is gonna come, it goes back to Ted's comment, that it's a whole paradigm issue. And I just want us to be able to.
If they have spare dimes, they can get in.
If I could get in for only a pair of dimes, I'd be real.
That's a bad joke, sorry.
No, we're gonna need more than 20 cents, but.
But you, good point, Julie just made is, our college kids don't pay for tickets to the games. At least
At least not my daughter.
I mean, at least, I don't.
Some schools they don't.
Some schools, I don't know about Michigan, but
You pay.
you pay.
Oh, yeah.
But our kids at Baylor
I
don't pay
paid
for
Notre Dame
tickets.
for many years.
Oh, yeah, you
It was part of our tuition.
I mean, I'm
They
sure I
don't
paid.
It was only
$100
at Baylor,
we
the
paid.
kids go
Well,
for
we
free.
pay.
Really?
Yeah,
They-
they went blind.
Yeah, we don't want to. They have to get money. They have
I know, I know,
They
I
have to
think
apply for the free
Michigan's
tickets,
not
yeah.
giving us
They
that.
have to email in the
Well, I think
Yeah.
the branding thing's gonna be the ticket. That's gonna give us a
They
lot.
want every dime.
No pun intended, yeah.
But last night the football coach was encouraging the boys to go to the volleyball game. Apparently north-south volleyball game was last night. So they were trying to get athletes to support athletes and go to the games.
It's a great
and-
idea.
And my son came home and he's like, I need $5. I'm like, actually, you don't need $5. You need this app now, I think. And, you know,
Ugh,
and
that's a problem.
you know, so now they're trying to decide who's gonna go. I think if you're a student, especially an athlete, then go support other athletes. And I don't think they should be charged $5 on a Tuesday night to go down and watch a volleyball game. They're going to support their friends. They all showed up horribly smelly, so I apologize to anyone that had to sit next to them. You know, in their South gear, but to support the volleyball team. So, you know, if we're trying to get athletes and students to support other athletes and students, is the $5 really worth it? I mean, I don't have a problem paying as a parent to go, but, you know, then we've got all the other ambiances, and I think, you know, some of the kids are sick for it on that. You know, it's,
One of
I
the
gotta pay, I gotta
things-
show an ID, I gotta have this, you know, my son has his ID in his phone unless he doesn't. So he's like, well, how, they let him in last night because they all had South shirts on, and they smelled like football players, but, you know, I just feel like it sends a mixed message, so.
Well, we'll sit down and talk with the ADs. and-
Yeah, just be, if we have an idea what the income stream is and what should be foregoing, that would be a good, and one of the things I thought, because I remember one of the ADs telling me that it was a discipline issue with the kids. They were
Sure,
unruly.
that's part of it too.
And one of the ways you could cure that, and they said, well, we don't have a way to identify the middle schoolers. If you had something where they could sign up annually for a VIP pass where they get a lanyard of some kind, then I know you could get businesses that would help subsidize that cost. And,
Oh, that's a great idea.
you know.
Wouldn't that go back to like
That's a
the
fun
Go fan piece though? Like having to go online to be able to do something as a kid.
But I mean, if they have to be wearing that
Middle school have
lanyard,
IDs?
then if you've got a
Yeah, middle school has
issue,
IDs, it
you
would
at
just,
least
yeah.
look at
They don't
it
get a lanyard, but yeah.
They don't, do they in high school?
anyway.
But for the,
So
like
you're
the
gonna
parks,
hang
right,
those.
you have a lanyard that you go down the, well, I put mine on a lanyard for my kids.
But I don't know. So
I
moot
mean,
point,
every
because I
kid's
know
got a
that we're.
student ID, but, you know, can you just show your ID as a student to get in for free? But bring your De La Salle friend or your Lance Cruz friend or whatever, you know, our kids have friends outside the bubble, and it's, you know, they wanna support each other. So my son can go watch his Lance Cruz buddy play basketball, and he does all the
Does
time.
he pay? I know I've gone to Lance Cruz and.
That's a good question, that I don't know. I don't
Unit schools, and every time I've gone, I had to pay.
I'm gonna guess
And
not, 'cause he never
that
has
was 20
cash.
years ago, it's now, whatever.
When they looked at you, they know you weren't
Well,
gonna be
they
respected.
actually charge double when it's on me.
Yeah. It's gonna be high maintenance here.
Yeah, and I just
Anyway.
want to bring up one other point is, we had, for homecoming, right, we had everybody on our block, we were right near the high school, right, we hear it all night long, and the 3 houses in a row, we all had groups of people over, all with kids, all with little kids, and we all went, like the whole bunch of us, all went over to the game with a gazillion kids, whether they were in the district or not in the district, and maybe we paid the $5. We all came with cash. I know that, so I don't know what happened with the cash thing. If we'd all just walk by
But
the
we'll
lady.
look
I
into
don't
all
know.
those details.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I did just look on the app, because it was the first time I had downloaded on there. I know this is a very small component to everything that we're talking about, but both North and South football do say kids 4th grade and under and seniors, I think it said specifically 60 and up are free.
Oh, and they charged me.
School board's
So my
free.
youthful look. I'm going for a refund.
How many years have you been paying?
Every time. I don't know.
You don't have a gold card?
No.
Do we still do gold
I
card?
don't even know if we do or not.
I think it's a gold card. I think.
I haven't sitting on my,
I think Howell was giving
He
up.
has the original gold card.
Yeah,
This
this
year,
year,
back
it's all
in-
free.
What's a gold card?
What is it? Yeah.
What is a gold card?
well, when you retired, you used to get a card, it was gold or yellow or something, and it allows you into a lot of the activities for free.
Oh,
I used to get, you could go to a
Senior.
choir concert for free.
Then you had to get a blood test first, then they'd let you in. Just kidding.
Okay, Ginny, you got something we're adding?
Yeah, we're adding new business, and Ted has some things to share. So
Sure.
Thank
Happy to
you.
share it. So I'm gonna do an update on the branding subcommittee, and I'm gonna start from the beginning, because you may not have heard this part before, Chris. So the genesis for this subcommittee started with that marathon meeting we had, I think that was in June, so long ago.
yeah.
And so I heard a lot of passionate people talking about a variety of subjects up until 3:30 in the morning. That was quite some meeting. And so it came out of this that we have people who are passionate about branding on both sides of the issue. So the idea came up with, let's create a subcommittee of this community engagement committee. So this is part of this committee. And the subcommittee is to help shepherd in a new branding campaign for the district. So the brand campaign is already baked into the budget. So there's a $35,000, I believe, set aside for branding, and then $10,000 for.
I think it was a total of 50.
Is that more on there? So whatever we have in the budget, we know that we were moving forward with branding, but the idea was, let's create a committee to help shepherd it in. Let's have a committee that's gonna help evaluate companies, help evaluate the branding process, help evaluate branding campaigns. Have a number of ambassadors for this campaign to help this process along. So we thought, okay, we'll put a notification out there, let's see how many people would be interested in participating. And we thought maybe we'd get a few. And we got 34 applications. We put together a questionnaire, we applied in droves. And so one of the things that we heard was with this subcommittee, with this committee, we did not, I don't think we interviewed everyone. They were
No, we had
selected.
like
Right.
200.
And so that was a point of contention. So when Sean and I talked about this branding subcommittee, we thought, okay, we're gonna need to interview everyone, no matter how long it takes. And so everyone that applied is going to go through a lengthy interview, give them a chance to explain why they think they'd be a good fit and their thoughts in the district. The 34 people who applied, I had interviewed 25 of them. And each of the 25 were amazing conversations. People from all walks of life, people from marketing communications and branding, non-marketing communications, people who had skin in the games, students in the district, people who did not have any students in the district, they just wanted to help with this process. They were excited about branding. So lots of great conversations. Every conversation was great. Every conversation was between 40 minutes and over an hour, and I enjoyed every one of them. We got a lot of great feedback. Sean and I made our recommendations to Ahmed, and he chose, I think, 14 from our recommendations. And so we have a branding subcommittee that is going to be meeting sooner than later. And the purpose of that committee is to do a bunch of things, right? One is to help with the RFP process with selecting a branding company. So there's an RFP that we created, and I think, Chris, that you have that RFP that was months ago. We can resend it to you if you want it to be resent, but I think through that process I sent it to, I think, John, and John sent it to you guys. I don't know if you have it, but there was an RFP, just a draft, for selecting a brand subcommittee that has to go through the district. The committee would help with that process. And then there'd be a selection of...
You should resend those tapes. I think they went to John Dean.
Okay,
So
sure, we
that
can
may not
resend
have
that, yeah,
gotten.
that's the easy one. So then the process would be after the bids go out, there'd be review of that process, review of the actual bids. The subcommittee would do that. So the subcommittee would help make some recommendations to the administration and to the board of who to choose. It's up to the administration and board to choose a company. The subcommittee is not choosing anyone, just making recommendations. Once that company is selected, then there'll be a work that needs to be done, and the subcommittee will help facilitate that work. We'll help the company with access to resources and whatever the company needs. From there, there'll be what's called a brand brief that a company creates. And a brand brief includes the reasoning, the methodology of the brand campaign, all of the recommendations, and from that, the subcommittee would help weigh in. Again, make more recommendations to the superintendent and your team, as well as the board, and those recommendations will go forward, and it's up to you guys to either accept them or go a different route. But once the brand campaign starts, the subcommittee will have a role in implementing and execution of the brand campaign. And the brand campaign will be far-reaching, as I just alluded to a few minutes ago. So it will include recommendations. So this is, not my first rodeo with brand campaigns. It's been my whole entire career in planning and launching and executing educational brand campaigns. And so, there's a process that is proven that works, that most companies use to create this brand campaign. And, most people don't understand branding. I put together a presentation just for the board and this committee to go over and kind of explain, what a brand is, how brand can really impact every aspect of every part of the organization, every business practice, every decision you make will be impacted by the brand. The brand leads everything, and it's sort of an umbrella that it's a gift that sort of keeps on giving. And so this has been done millions of times by millions of companies. The most famous one is Nike and Just Do It, but virtually every company in the world does a branding campaign. Every university, every community college. Now school districts are getting involved in it, and many have done it before. So this is not new. We're not doing something that blazing a new path. We're not trailblazers by any means. We're sort of late in the game in terms of branding, but it's important that we do this, and it impacts positively on the entire district and everything that we do. And like
So
I
you're not
said,
gonna change the name of the district?
no, that's not on the table, to change the name of the
Like
district.
Cornwell?
We did think about
Yeah.
the Chris Fenton Public School District, but we rolled that out. So that
Were
was
we
the
in
first thing.
District 5 before it was?
Yeah, yeah. So certain things we're not gonna change, right? We're not gonna recommend change. So there's nothing we're changing. So let me be clear. There's nothing we're changing. We're just making recommendations. The brand campaign from any company will be a series of recommendations. There'll be logos, there'll be typefaces, there'll be simple things like that. More extravagant things like, what does an ad look like? What does the website look like? What does the social media look like? Signage look like? A million things, right? And there will all be recommendations to the board and to the administration on what to do. It's up to you to either say yay or nay. Very exciting. Love talking about branding.
I
Very
couldn't tell that. I couldn't figure that out. No, we're happy to have you
Thank you.
working with Sean on this.
I just want to say one thing, Dr. Bishop. So I was in the Grosse Pointe North Parade, homecoming parade, walking for the first time. And I'm holding the banner for the Grosse Pointe alumni and friends. And Dr. Bishop is a complete rock star. People are just screaming his name and his son's name. His son's very popular too, but they're just screaming. There's so much love for Dr. Bishop. So I was just right in front of him, and I got to hear all the screams. So you're very well loved in the district. We're very fortunate to have you.
Yeah, we scream that all the time.
It's a good thing. He knows I sing his praises too. So I just wanted to share my thoughts.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, like Nike has Just Do It, ours could be like learning more gooder.
Yes. Education is good,
Yeah,
right? Or gooder,
more good.
yes. Those will not be part of it. But there will be slogan recommendations.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to choose whichever one you feel, or not choose it.
We like superlatives, so goodest.
Good. Yes.
Okay, I think that's all for me, but thank you so much. It's amazing. Any other new business thing you want to talk about? Okay, public comments? No? Second row, third row? Just hi, okay. All right.
And then Mrs. Falo sends her regards. She's ill tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Took care of Gary all week and then she got sick.
Oh, gosh.
Happens.
Yeah.
She's sorry.
Yeah, she sent to the ambulance, so I'm sorry she wasn't here. Okay, meeting adjourned.
Oh, wait, committee members on this.
Oh, right.
It's okay.
Go for it, Ted.
I've already spent my time.
Yeah.
I'll pass it.
You can have my 3 minutes, Ted.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I'm just gonna say there's the Young Life fundraiser tonight, so if anyone wants to go, Atwater.
Say it again.
Atwater fundraiser tonight for Young Life. If anyone wants to
okay.
go. Just plugging my favorite charity. Nothing?
No.
Ahmed?
Nope. Chris,
Nope,
give us a new slogan, Chris.
I'll work on it. Actually, true story, I received a $100.
that can of worms, say?
No, I used to work for Sperry
When the
Radio.
Nile opens.
Somebody likes to
They
go
had a branding thing and all that, and I won a $100 U.S. savings bond for coming with the name of their Sperry newsletter.
Which was?
I think it was called Very Sperry.
It was called Sparrow.
The whole company's
Yeah,
gone.
turning to you first, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, the whole company's been bought out, so that's no longer around.
Very scary.
It was really very scary.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.